So, oh,
Got back problems?
no, ankle just locked.
Oh, I got back problems. I got an old man's back.
I got those too, but this was an ankle. We left off with a day of practice, double checking stuff. We felt a little iffy when I said, "How's it going with our graphs?" What do we think? A little bit better this time around?
A little better.
Okay.
Little bit.
Okay. Yep. In the meantime, we had 4 days, including a Spartan time, to ask questions, to get help. Most of you have probably had a resource block or academic life skills in between. Why, oh why, do we not have our packet and this handout in front of us? Kevin! You too, bud. Okay. You should all have this handout in front of you along with your packet. We took 2 days on this. We did everything on the front together. And you were left to do the backside on your own. So, give you the short version of each.
I like the short version.
You should have this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y1.
Why are those dotted?
Oh, that one will be solid. I'm just putting these in to begin with. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, y -2, x positive 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. 2, 3, 4. -3, -1, and positive 2/3 and 2, 3. Okay, there's where all of the lines should be in terms of whether they are solid or dotted. Every time that there's a or equal to, we're going to fill it in. Solid line, dotted, dotted, solid, solid, dotted, solid, dotted, shade. In each of these instances, if it says below the line, I'm below the line. Says above the line, I'm above the line. Says above the line, I'm above the line. Is 0 greater than, nope, above the line. 0 greater than 3, nope, above the line. Is under the line. 0 less than, nope. 0 greater than, nope. And is 0 greater than -3, yep. Okay. So you had, what, half hour in class plus 4 days to do that. If any of them went a little wonky on you, if you're going in the wrong direction, put a star next to it. We'll talk about them. We want to make sure that we know what we're doing here because you're also about to do a daily quiz with it. And if we can't do this, you're doing it twice per problem in section 3-4. So we have to know how to do this. Check your work. I do like that looking around, I see most of us actually did it. Yay. That's better. We had an issue first semester. I talked to some of your folks Thursday night.
Did you
Okay.
talk to my mom?
No.
Ha.
Okay. I did talk to some of your folks, and it was the same thing that we talked about first semester, except for some of you, there's the addition of they shouldn't be in my class anymore because they failed. They need to step it up if they want their credit. You show me a C this semester or you're toast. Okay? So I like that you're actually doing your work. I like the engagement this time around. It's a little bit better. Any of these 9 that we need to go through? They all went good? 3? Okay. There isn't a 3.
No, sorry. Yeah, there is. Top right. 7?
7?
Oh, sorry. Back.
Yeah, the other side, that was what we did together. We did the whole front side together. This is the back. The back was your assignment part that we had time to work on in class plus the weekend. Okay. Anything from the back? All right. Then, daily quiz time. There we go. 3.3. Because we didn't do one last time, I knew we weren't really feeling it. 3.3 is graph linear inequalities. I would like for you to graph
Reset.
I would like you to graph that. Now, we did this last week. Remember, look at the front page of your sheet. Sometimes you have to do the work to get y by itself. Okay, do the work to get y by itself. Then graph it. Paying close attention to your signs. Okay. I like the number of you that have went and got graph paper right away. That's great. Are we also labeled? Or is it just a random problem on a piece of paper that I have no idea what it is? Or does it say 3 graphing linear inequalities on there so I know what the crap's going on? Because let's be honest, some of y'all, I don't know what that is. It's hieroglyphs. Okay? It's bad enough translating it.
Well, my
I got to know what I'm translating. Okay?
You can at least read
Okay? Yeah?
Paxton.
I figured that's where this was going. Yes. Yes, ma'am, you are more than welcome. Okay, we're going to do more coloring today, so if you need more colored pencils. Okay. Oh, wait, no, those are Sharpies. There's the colored pencils. There we go.
Only like the intro of stupid.
All right.
Thank you.
You don't get the whole box. Take some. Oh, here, between the two of you. Okay. Who else needs some? Hmm? Have fun. Yes. I've got kids come down here doing tests, but if you want to go 1v1 on this, we can.
Yeah, because I have
Yep.
no idea what I'm doing. So. Tuesday.
I said that was the pre-ACT. No one was in here.
So what day were we in here?
You were in here last Thursday, and then the Thursday before that. It was a week gap in between, which is why we did an extra day of practice on this.
So we didn't cover a new lesson at all.
No.
No.
Hmm. Yes. Don't use a spoon. Okay. What's up?
Have you seen Malibu's Most Wanted?
No.
You should watch.
That's so random. Okay. Y'all there?
Somewhat.
We want y by itself. Who's got to go away?
2x.
Okay, and I'm going to get rid of it by doing what? Okay, so I'll add 2x to both sides.
3y.
Zeros out. Yep, we need Paxton's line. Okay. Okay, but if you did you then move the 6 over?
No.
Okay, so you got x by itself on accident. Yeah. So what you're going to have is, it's actually called the inverse of the graph. So yours is just going to be swapped. Okay? So keep rolling with it. Yours is going to be wrong, but again, we can use partial on there. Okay.
Put in a different order, like 6 plus 2x.
That's okay, but remember why we put them in this order?
No.
Mx plus b. Like, that's just the way that we normally write the equations. As long as you still know what your slope and intercept is, I don't care which way you wrote it. Okay. So I divide by 3. But did you remember, we did this several times, when you divide everything. Math is communist. What you do for one, you do for all. Divide by 3. Divide by 3, so that's y is less than 2/3 x, and 6 divided by 3 is 2.
Yeah, it sounded like in different order.
Okay. Did you still start in the correct spot, though?
Yeah.
Do we still start at 2 on the y-axis?
And then you go up right there.
And our slope is up to right 3, or down to left 3. Solid or dotted?
Dotted.
Okay. And if I have it in this form, it just says y is less than the line. So I would just go less than the line. No biggie. But if I was still up here, I'd put 0, 0 in here and say, is 0 less than 6? Yeah? So then 0 is an answer. I would shade towards the 0. So it's everything down there.
Actually, try with color. No. What does that say?
Here. Okay. Hey, if we're going to start taking points off for coloring.
No. It took you a bit.
Okay.
I just scribbled. Done.
There we go. That's it. Our points. Do we have our correct y-intercept? Do we have a slope of 2/3? Do we have a dotted line? Did we shade the right way? Do we got the work to back it up? Now, if our work was off, that means our whole graph is going to be off. So am I allowed to erase that and talk about hypotheticals here? Everyone who needs it got it? Okay. So, Paxton, if you did what you said you did. No, not you. You. There you go. There's actually a concept in math called the inverse, where if you had accidentally swapped your x and y, then this point would have been here, and that point would have been there, and that point would have been, what's that, 3, 4, would have been at 4, 3, there. You would have had this instead.
Let's flip it around.
Okay.
I really messed up.
Then that means that we swapped our x's and y's, oops, and we also missed the negative on our slope. So it would be a 3 out of 5. I can still see what you did and what you did wrong, but did you have a dotted line? Did you shade in the correct direction? Like, you got work to back it up, your work just went south on you. Like, you have a ratio of 2 to 3, except yours is 3 to 2. Like, based off of what you have, those are the two things you messed up. I'm not going to call that a 0 out of 5. I'm calling that a 3 out of 5. Okay? That's also how I approach you guys' tests. So never, ever, ever just zero it. Never say IDK and move on.
That's my favorite answer.
Never just leave it blank, because Paxton's over here thinking, the whole thing's just FUBAR, it's done. But you got a 3 out of 5. That's a 60. You know how averages work? A 60 instead of a 0 matters a lot. Turn it in, even if it's only 50%, turn it in. So, not really. Why are you thinking you get a 0.5?
No, I was wondering.
Oh. Oh. Nope. Yeah. And you can always ask and just say, I don't even know what to do with this. Can you look at it? That's fine. Okay. So you did the thing. Oh, and then we accidentally combined them. Okay. But then from there, Okay, so we combined something we couldn't.
Yeah.
Your slope is correct, but we should have started at 0 then, plus 0, instead of at plus 1. 3 out of 5. Okay. So, that is where we left off. There's a thing. I just had a thing, and I was going to say the thing, and I forgot the thing already.
You said something about the packet.
Yeah.
Go back over there, and then it should jog your memory.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget stuff once they go to a new place.
Yep, your
And then
physical approximation.
Yeah, and then if you're this return, then you remember. I walked upstairs and I just stood there and looked around. It's different. I went back downstairs.
Okay. Well, it'll come to me eventually. If you would, please, open up your packets. Page 101, section 3-4.
Right? Can we use Desmos on like homework?
That sounds.
Then you can just check and see if you get your graphs.
You can use it to check. I got no problem with that. If you know how to use the calculator appropriately, you can always check it on there. I'm sure that you could just point your phone at it and photomath it. Just make sure you know how to do it. You can do that to check stuff. I want you to. My Algebra 2 last semester, I had them bust out their phones and I want to know how far photomath can take it. I want to know how far Slater can take it. Because once you start getting up into Algebra 2 and beyond, Slater starts kind of quitting on us. I have kids pull those out and say, all right, I want to see, can it actually get this? And we started hitting a point where it couldn't. I was like, okay, now what if you haven't done anything for real for the last month? Uh-oh. Right? So by all means, if you want to do that to check your stuff, Desmos, graphing calculator, photomath, for all I care, I go for it to check your work, not to just write down the answer. Okay? Desmos is an online graphing calculator system.
Don't do that.
Okay. Okay, if you want to know Desmos, you go talk to Miss McCreary. She is the queen of it. He uses it a little bit too. I'm very much about the TIs. I'm the graphing calculator guy of the school because I use it nonstop for pre-calc. But Desmos, I've maybe only used it 2 or 3 times in my life. You go talk to Miss McCreary about that. She knows it better than I do. So, on 3-4. Okay, I know that might be a little bit hard to tell what's going on, particularly in a black and white graph. Okay. Right? So, I'm going to redo this. This line, which one is that?
The top. The cyan one.
The dotted one.
The cyan.
Right? Go by the inequalities. It's a dotted line because this has less ink. So this one says, I'm going to be here, and I'm shading above the line, so they shaded everything above the line.
Whoa.
Then I'm going to get rid of this and go back to blank screen. Okay, I know. Okay, this one is the solid line. And it says it is less than or equal to that line. So I'm going to shade everything below it. Now, it's even worse with me going over their stuff, but if I get rid of that. Okay, you can see where they overlap, right? So here's why I don't like the way they do it. And I'm not sure how Mr. Skoglund showed you this last year, but I've always had a problem with this because it's messy. It's real messy. And you know who you are in here. You know the kid that would draw this line, and then they would draw this line, and then they would come over here and just darken the living crap out of it.
Oh, that's complicated.
And they'd say, that's my answer. It's so messy. It's so messy. Okay? Now, but you know who you are, right? Isn't that the way that they're originally taught? Like, I'm going to shade really lightly in this direction. I'm going to shade really lightly in this direction. I see where they overlap, so I'm going to darken that part because that's the real answer. I've never liked that because it gets real messy. I also teach at Algebra 2 and above where I might have 4, 5, 6 of these on the same graph. Yes. Okay. Now, what I could do instead, there was what was called the old crosshatch method, where I do that. Here.
You should, like,
And then for this side, I would go that way. And I'd look for wherever I got the waffle.
it's a cone.
The waffle is my answer.
I like it.
But that's also still kind of messy. Because let's be honest, some of you don't exactly write lightly. Some of you try to murder both the pencil and the paper simultaneously when you write.
When you write, all I can hear is the crunching.
All the crunch, yeah. Okay. So,
We played tic-tac-toe.
no. So here's the way that I always did it. The way that I've shown kids, and most kids agree this ends up being pretty good. If this line says shade below it, I just put a couple little arrows on it, like air traffic controller. This says shade above it. Do you see where all the arrows are pointing? What's the area that they're pointing together? This region, right? So then I'll come over there and I'll shade that area. And only that area.
I'm gonna do the other method.
You can do that too. I'm showing you different ways because for each of you, it's going to be different. Okay? For each of you, you're going to prefer it a certain way. This is disgusting. But if instead of that, I had said shade this way, shade that way, I can see where all of my arrows are going to point in the same direction and be happy. They want to be over here. Okay? And it's a little bit neater. It's my personal preference.
You're gonna see a lot of tic-tac-toe once I'm doing these. After I'm done.
I would certainly hope that when you're doing these, I better be able to read it. If you say, I want to do it this way, though, great. Can I tell the difference in your answer?
No.
Can anyone in this room pick up your paper and know which region you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay? That's the key of it. People have to be able to understand the graph. So, you come down here and we're going to graph the two things. I'm going to use the arrows. You do it however you're going to do it. It says, solve this system by graphing. I will start with the first line is going to be what? Solid or dot. Okay. Solid line. I'm going to start at 1. What's my slope? I don't see a number. There's a 1 in front of the x. I put it over 1 to make it a fraction, and because it's positive, yep, we got this, we're going to go up and to the right. So up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, or fall back down the stairs. Down 1, left 1. Okay.
Like that scary life alert.
Depends whether your foot gets hung up on the carpet.
Oh, that's
They said solid, so solid. The solution does or does not include 0, 0. If I were to put zeros in there, 0 for y, 0 for x, is 0 greater than or equal to 1? No. So the solution doesn't include 0, 0. I'm going to shade above. And again, I am going to use just a couple of little arrows because I don't know where my final answer is going to be yet. I don't want to put a whole bunch of marking on there and then erase it. Okay, you've all been in the class where you get to the table after someone else was in there and there's just eraser shavings everywhere. Okay, next one. I'm going to go to, it's going to be a solid line again because it's or equal to. Where do I start?
You start at 2.
2 on the y-axis. I've got a negative x, so that's a negative 1 in front of it.
Negative 1 over 1.
I put it over 1 as a fraction.
Down 1, right 1.
Down 1, right 1. Use those arrows. So from here, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. Set a solid line, so solid line it is. And then I plug in 0, 0. If I use a 0 here, if I use 0 here, gone, I get a 2. Is 0 greater than or equal to 2? No. So I have a solution that doesn't include 0, 0. So I'm not going to shade towards the 0, I'm going to shade away from the 0. Again, I'm going to use my little arrows. This is why I like the arrows. Look at them now, and if I asked you, which of those 4 regions are all of them pointing? Right? We should be able to see that.
And just erase that.
So I don't need to put those there. If I see that my arrows are all headed to the same area, then I'm just going to shade that area. Okay? Shade the region where the 2 graphs overlap. Hopefully we can spell that. So that's really the core of it. That's what all of 3-4 is. It's just we're going to change how some of the equations look. Graph this one, point where they're headed, shade where they both are headed, where they're both going to be happy. Okay, the idea behind this is, here, let's get rid of this. The blue. My wife wants Mexican food.
Me too.
Here we go again.
Right?
What do you want?
These are all the places in the Tri-County area that have Mexican food.
I'll go eat Mexican food with you.
I do not like Mexican food. It's really hard to tell where those are overlapping by color alone, right? But the region where they're both happy is anywhere in here. Doesn't that look really messy where 3/4 of your graph is shaded? So instead, how about we get rid of that and just have the part that's my answer shaded? So, flip it. Okay,
Our turn.
now there's fractions in there,
Oh, no.
and there's a scale. I said graphing isn't really the problem. I think we're actually okay at that. But graphing by a scale can be tough.
And fractions. Don't you just
Never mind. Fractions are.
Fraction isn't so bad here because that's just my slope,
Yeah, that's
right?
Is that colored in? Like on the orange one?
Yes, this is colored right here. This is orange. Okay.
Wow, that's so.
So the first one.
Yeah, it's a fighter jet.
Oh my god, the Russians are.
No. No.
Makes you think the Russians are coming here.
Okay. Solid or dotted line? Shut your noisemaker. It is a dotted line. Okay. Kids these days. Where am I starting?
You're starting at 4.
Up, mid, down,
On the
two.
Y, it's
On the y-axis, yes. Be careful. Now, most of us are good with that slope. Down 2, right 3. But look at the scale. So when I go down 2, it's down 1, 2, right 1, 2, 3. Down 1, 2, right 1, 2, 3. If you need to make those little dots as you're counting out your boxes, do it. Because the scale is different here, and you have to be very careful about where you put your dots. I'm also going to go up 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. Up 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. Up 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. I should have stuff that fits all on a straight edge line now. It's a dotted line. We already said that part. So just look at this part, not even the 0, 0. Am I shading up or down? Which is it?
up
How do you know?
because 0 isn't greater than 4.
Okay, so option 1.
Shading down because the lower part is negative, which is more than 0.
Okay, option 1, I can put in 0, 0. If I put 0 here and here, I get 0 is greater than 4. Is that true? No. So I will not shade here. I will shade the other direction. And use my little arrows. The other option is, this just said y is blank then the line. What is that symbol? It's eating y. Pac-Man is eating y. Is it bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
You always eat the bigger number, right? That is greater than. Y is greater than the line, so I shade above the line because that's where y's are bigger.
The X doesn't even
Okay. Doesn't include 0, 0. Okay, go to round 2. Solid line. Start at -2. Slope is,
-2.
down 2, right 3. Down 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. Down 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. Down 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. Or up 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. Up 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. up 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. And that is also a solid line, we said. What are these called? Do you remember? Parallel. Parallel lines, like a train track, means they're never going to cross. Okay? If I plug 0, 0 in here, I get 0 is less than or equal to -2. Is that true? No, I would rather be broke than owe someone money. So we shade away from the 0. This is another reason why I don't want you shading and then darkening the part that matters. Because where are all of those arrows pointing together?
Nowhere.
They're not, right?
Wait, what does that say? Either what?
Solid.
Solid.
I can't read that.
Solid line, dude.
I think he said sala. I was like, what the sala?
It's like salsa, but without that.
Okay. So if one of them is shading this way and the other is shading this way, where do those two regions overlap? Never. And that's exactly what it is. I'm going to take those out of there. I won't shade anything. Nothing. Don't shade this part, and then think that you're going to darken in the rest, because you don't actually shade anything. There is no solution. There's nowhere that they're going to overlap. That would be like me saying, Kevin, I want you to stand up. Sit in your seat. I just told you to stand up. Why are you sitting?
He didn't say Simon says. Come on.
Why are you standing up? I told you to get in your seat. You can't make both of them happy. Okay? You're not going to make both of those instructions true if they never overlap.
You could.
And then Kevin's like, all right, I got this. I am standing in my seat. Okay? Don't do that either. You have to find the area where both of them are overlapping, because it's where they're both true. We ran into parallel lines when we first did graphing. We said there was no solution then, there's no solution now. Ooh, I want to go back to this though. What if I have this line, okay, I know that's not what they were. No. Well, can you tell me what the answer is?
Yeah. For what?
If they're shading like this?
No other one. None.
If they're parallel,
Infinite, or whatever that is.
Infinite
Infinite maze was
Just go at it.
well, these are regions, so there's always infinitely many solutions. But which region do I shade?
all above the first one.
Right. I want to look at where is everything going to be happy. These are happy everywhere above. These are happy everywhere above. So this is above both of them, isn't it? So that's my answer. Okay? So you got to do a little bit of thinking about where are all of your arrows going to be happy. Try them. There you go, 1 and 2. They're walking you through line by line, graph the thing, tell me the solutions, shade them. You try them. Okay, this is just a double dose of what we did last Thursday.
So how do I know like where to shade that?
That's where that plugging 0 in thing comes in. Where's my... There we go.
Shading 0 and 2.
So if I put a 0 here, I get 0. Less than. If I put a 0 here, anything times 0 is 0. Plus 2. Is 0 less than 2?
Yeah.
So for this line, 0 is an answer. So I'll shade towards that.
So if that's correct, it would shade towards where the arrow is pointing.
No, if it's correct, you shade towards the 0, because that's the point you checked.
Okay.
Ain't gonna be gone. Okay, make it quick. Don't need to be disappearing for 15 minutes. Yes, sir.
So I do. Solution is we're going to the two graphs we need, correct?
It's where they overlap.
Yeah, overlap.
So this one says y is less than the line. Everything this way. This guy says y is greater than the line, so everything above it. You see how all of your arrows are pointing towards this? So that's your answer.
Perfect.
Everything in there.
All right, and then just to clarify, I'd like to redo this. Can you give me a different problem during study hall? Because I totally just was like, what do I do? And then he went up to do it, and I was like, I know exactly how to do that.
It's also been a week and a half since you've seen it, and
Exactly.
you know you're not supposed to do your daily quizzes if you're not ready for them, but you tried it anyway. Yes, I can definitely give you another one.
Thank you.
Sullivan
Hey.
can buy you a whole lot of red poster.
Oh my god. Please.
Why do I have a feeling like you should have detention right now?
I don't know.
I don't. Hey.
So I'm confused on what I would do for y is greater than -3.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh,
Remember
so
those
it'd
guys?
just be- yeah.
So y equals number is just a horizontal line at -3.
Okay.
Make sure it's dotted. So just straight across there.
Sweet.
And it
then-
says y is greater than that, so everywhere above.
Yeah. So it would be right.
So it's got to go a little off-road for it, but
Yeah.
you see how it's going to be this kind of angle. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, first one, where are you starting?
Positive 2 on the y-axis.
I love that we say on the y-axis. Okay, when I see a negative 1/3, remember,
Down 1, right 3.
up or down, always to the right. Down 1, right 3. Uh-oh, I ran out of room.
Up 1, left 3.
So that's when I put its opposite on there as well. I'm going to go up 1, left 3. So it's dotted line through there. Not very straight, but it works. And if I plug a 0, 0 in here, right here and here, that says 0 is less than 2. That's true. So I will shade towards the 0. Do it again. I'm going to start at a -5, way down here. Slope is 2 over 1, up 2, right 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 1. It's a solid line this time. And instead of putting 0, 0 in there, still legal, 0 is greater than -5, I can just say this is greater than the line. So I will shade above the line. And I shade everything in there, that region where everyone is pointing. Okay. I step out real quick. I grab some copies. I use the bathroom. I come in, and I don't know, there's a taco hanging from the lights. And I just say, all right, who's getting kicked out? And everyone points at Paxton. Well, there's my solution. Paxton probably did it. If I see that all of my arrows are pointing over there, well, that's where I go. Okay? Same over here, but we got to be careful. Now we have a scale to worry about. I'm going to use a solid line starting at 7. And when I have a slope of -1, be careful. That's down 1, right 1. 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 It's on all of these or halfway through the line. Okay. It's a solid line going through there. And if I put 0, 0 in there, 0 is less than 7. So it includes the point. I'm going to shade towards it. Okay. Paxton, help me out with this one. We had to go back and look at our notes.
It's a horizontal line on -3. On the
Okay.
y.
If y'all don't remember, I want you to go back and look at the very beginning of 3-2. Pretty sure it's the beginning of 3-2. Okay. On the beginning of 3-2, maybe 3-1, we had you write on there that if you ever see y equals a number, it's a horizontal line at that number. If you ever see x equals number, it's a vertical line at that number. So when I see y is less than -3, then it's just a horizontal line at -3. There we go. And it says y is greater than that, so I shade above. So forget who I was just working with. We had it shaded out here. That means we didn't do our arrows right. I see all of my arrows are pointing in there. It was Paxton who stuck the taco on the ceiling. Okay, splat.
I feel like that's something Paxton actually would do.
No.
I feel like he would.
Beginning of the year, maybe. By now, no.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Oh, I didn't write our stuff over here. Our solution. It does, or includes, and it's where they overlap. All right. You feeling okay about this?
Yes. Sort of, yeah.
Like, same stuff we've been doing? Then
We have a half hour to do our homework.
I'm going to get one more in, just because this has a scale, and then I'm also going to do the word problem. Okay? So, first up, Shane. Yellow inequality, solid or dotted?
Got it.
Okay. Where am I starting?
On positive 8.
On the y-axis. You gotta put that in there, guys.
Yep. What is my slope? I don't see a number there.
Your slope is 1 over
Negative 1 over 1.
Put it over 1 as a fraction, and then down and right. Down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, and I have to be careful about that scale again. I got a bunch of dots in the middle of my boxes this time. Okay. Be careful with your scale.
That's a dot.
Well, what happens when I accidentally put a...
Did you erase this, right?
Okay. Because how many of you get this and then you start over?
Me.
Right? Just erase a little bit, erase a little bit, erase a little bit. That's all you have to do. Okay. Hey, all. What is -2 divided by 2?
1.
So couldn't I go down 2, right 2?
Yeah.
And it still works. So just, there's a bunch of different tips and tricks you can do for it. Yes, it is dotted. Okay. Just erase little parts of it. All right. I did the hypocritical thing that I always chew out other teachers for doing. You got me.
Brownie point.
You got me. Yep.
What was the hypocritical thing?
I pretended like I meant to do that. I really didn't.
Why do we get a brownie point?
Because you fixed my error. Where'd purple go?
What hair?
Where's purple?
The dotted line thing?
Yeah.
All teachers.
I was correcting you about that a lot.
No, I was wrong. I just didn't want to say it. I should have a purple marker somewhere.
Say it, we would have like 4 in one day.
Here, we'll just do this. I'll start you off the same place I do with the fresh meat. Quarter of the way through the semester, we're on the board.
Finally.
Woohoo!
Okay.
We're gods.
If I put in 0, 0, 0 is not greater than 8.
We only got one, Ken.
No, the one at the top.
Yeah, they got to get to 20. They're at 14. Okay. Next up, solid or dotted?
Why don't we only have to get 15?
Smaller class. Okay.
There's a lot. Okay. Oh, so it's like how many people are in the
Yeah.
class?
It's more of a ratio if I'm trying to fight against 25 kids instead of I'm trying to fight against 12 kids. Right?
What if we only had 5 kids?
I'd still probably at least have 10. All right, solution. If I start at -3, careful, it's midway through the line. Slope is 4/1.
That'll just be 2 down.
Up
Or
1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. It's right in the middle of the box. Up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. It's on the middle of the line. Up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. It's in the middle of the box again. Okay, you have to be careful when you're counting on a scale. Down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1 is in the middle of the box. Down 1, 2, 3, little off-road, 4 over 1 is halfway through the line. Won't be solid. And it says y is greater than this line. Greater than is above the line.
Ooh, you do the top.
So where they're all pointing is that itty bitty little like soul patch up at the corner. Right there.
No, it's possible color.
Okay.
That is so small.
Oh, I had a student before who he had just glorious, like it was thick. Like I could never grow anything like that. He had pork chops over here and he dyed them orange.
Oh,
So he's
come
Irish.
And then he had a goatee that he did like it was blue or purple
Why?
That is awesome.
because he wanted to. Why not?
That's what Irish
Okay. So down at the bottom, the word problem. Yes, I skipped the 2 in the middle. You're going to do those because I think you're fine with them.
Oh no, those are way too
Okay. We have 2 inequalities, but one of them has a really weird y-intercept. So when you're graphing this, you're just going to have to ballpark it. 8.35. Where is that?
8.35.
It's at 8, and then you go up and
In between 8 and 9.
Yeah.
You ballpark it about a third of the way through the box.
Yeah.
You go a little higher.
So now, when this says down to right 3, where that dot is on the line, that's where all of your other dots are going to be on their lines. If I go down 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3, it's going to be up at 6.35. Okay?
That is pretty good.
So you just ballpark it. Down 2, right? 1, 2, 3, about there. Down 2, right? 1, 2, 3, about there. Solid or dotted?
Solid. I had to read the whole thing just on the solid.
That says y is what then? The line.
Less.
So up or down? Down. Y's are less as I go downward. So I'm going to throw some arrows on here saying go that way. I do it again.
Oh. How do you do that method again? Like the tic-tac-toe one?
You crosshatch. Crosshatch means I'll do this.
Okay.
Just make perpendicular lines to it.
So
I don't want to do that. Okay, next one. I heard 10 on the y-axis. Way up here. What's the slope?
down one.
So down 1, right 1. So down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1.
No, we don't do it like
Almost parallel, but not quite.
Not quite. Solid or dotted?
no solution.
Dotted.
No sign.
Oh, it,
Are you seeing stuff again?
you know.
Y is what then? This line. Look at the inequality.
It's rare.
Greater. So where it hits the y-axis, I would shade up. Well, that just means I'm shading this way. Or is there?
There is like.
You see right here in this little wedge, those two arrows are pointing at each other. So it's not a big solution, but it is everything in that little wedge there.
You can barely see it.
They have a very specific set of criteria here. Y'all are too off task. Okay. Said, gonna buy a bunch of ham and turkey and salami and stuff for like lunch potluck. Said, here's my budget. My budget says I can't spend more than that yellow line. But then the amount that you can actually buy is everything above the blue line. So if you want to stay in your budget, but
So basically less than or equal.
it costs so much, I have to be in that little green slice. Anything in there, that's how much I can get. Nothing else. The rest of it is all you.
Till the stop sign?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. What's the stop sign?
Now normally,
One.
Oh, that's not too bad.
no, it's not.
I'm not counting.
Normally, I wouldn't really, I'd say, well, we'll work on it a little bit now. We'll work on it again next class. But we're behind, y'all. We're about 2-3 weeks behind where we should be at this time of the year.
What should we be at right now?
We should be on 6.
We should be wrapping up chapter 3 right now, moving into 4.
And this is chapter 3.
Yes. Okay.
Why don't
We-
speed it up?
We are, because you're going to do this right now. You all have 15 minutes to work. Use it wisely, because if you don't finish, then it is homework. Normally, I'm not about that in this class. But if you don't finish right now in these 15 minutes, you got homework.
I'm just gonna save it for a smart time, so something.
Okay? If you're working, if I see you screwing